Alright, we got the first reveals of set 13 with Desire Devils, along with new Avantgarta stuff, aka a new form, kinda. So let's begin. So we start off with Desire Devil Gogetsu, which is a grade 1 with powering the skills auto when placed from soul to rearguard cost. Put 2 cards from your hand to soul to choose 1 Greedon card from your soul and add it to your hand. One thing, trading 2 for 1 card. And in fact, you can actually die from this because the 7 damage clause if you're using regular Greedon. If it's mass, then you're safe. But once again, trading 2 cards for 1, not really worth it. Although it is counterblast free though. Next, Desire Devil Mushin, which is a grade 3 with 30 power and skills. Auto Soul. When your Greedon Vanguard attacks, if it's a second battle of the turn and you did not have a rearguard with the same name as this card, you may call this to rearguard. And if you called, you cannot put this card to soul by your Vanguard's ability this turn, and plus 5k. The important factor about this is basically rearguard attacks for the deck. You're going to be sucking your rearguards to soul, so it's usually going to be a Vanguard attack only deck, but thanks to this card you now have more rearguard attack options, and not just limited to Bubitsu where it can only be called from hand. And this is also free, which is another very strong point, and Dark State can do easy soul charging. And now to the new Deathster support. The first one being Blue Deathster Asagi Milestone, which is a grade 1 with power and the skills. Auto, when placed on rearguard, if your Vanguard is Blue Deathster, cost combos 1, choose a grade 3 or greater Avantgarta card from your drop zone and add it back to your hand. Spoiler, we got a new Avantgarta, so now you have 2 targets, and what's nice about this is basically recycling for a Persona ride, which the deck basically is. But anyway, second skill, count rearguard. If a strategy card was put into the over zone from soul this turn, this card gets plus 5k power. You're going to be doing that for free with Avantgarta practically every single turn. Although if you're using the new one, that might be a different situation. But overall just good for the fact that you can just recycle. And now to the new form of Avantgarta, which is basically Sora Period on Avantgarta, with Avantgarta riding on top of a new mech suit. That being Blue Deathstar, Skyrending Night God, Avantgarda Rides. Night God, that's a pretty cool title name. But anyway, it's a grade 3 with 13 power and the skills. At hand, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, cost reveal this card, bind a Blue Deathstar Skyrender Avantgarda from your Vanguard, and ride this card as stand. Until the end turn, it gets all the original act abilities of the bound cards for this cost. So basically, you bind the original to go into a full armor state mode. At least this card retains all its original skills. But anyway, second skill, Auto Vanguard. At the end of battle of this unit attack, if your soul has a Blue Deathstar Sora Period, cost, discard 2 cards from your hand, choose a Blue Deathstar Skyrender Avantgarta from your bind zone, ride as stand, and it gets power plus 10,000 and drive -1 until the end of turn. So basically, first skill makes you wear the armor, second skill basically takes off the armor. So few ups and downs about this. The upside is that this is not considered a restand, so no counter heals for that one. The second is that it doesn't require you to put the strategy card in soul, so meaning that you can get your 2 Vanguard attacks with some extra power. But the downside is basically the strategy card. You're not going to be able to play any of your strategies if you're on this. But there is a little bit of a strategy that you can do here. You ride this on top of the Persona Road Avantgarta through its first skill, get the ability of Avantgarta for the restand, and then use the second skill to superior ride the original Avantgarta, giving you 3 Vanguard attacks in 1 turn. Yes, the original Avantgarta itself will not get the restand, hence you're going to be losing the skill of sucking the strategy into soul, because that part is an act and then it gets the skill. But you can do something with this, and I think it's actually a pretty neat idea, especially with Avantgarta wearing extra armor. That's basically how I see this card. It's basically the potential of a triple attack Vanguard. Wear the armor, get the powers of the original, and then through the original you get the restand, although in Persona it's guaranteed, and then the second skill will just give you the superior ride. That's basically how I see this card. So overall, it's a pretty cool concept. And then finally we got a new ruling change, and this is basically about doubling or tripling power. Basically, when you're doubling or tripling power, it doesn't count the boosting power anymore. So say you're boosting a unit with 8k power on top of a 10k power, that's a total of 18k. But when you're doubling the power, it does not count the boosting power. So it's only counting the original power right there. So if you're doubling that, it means that you're doubling the 10k. And once again, if you're doubling again, basically the 10 becomes 20, and doubling that will become another 20k right there. So that's a total of 40k. That's going to be the new doubling power ruling. So it doesn't count the boosting. And I kind of like it, so we do not get OP powers. So that's it for the first reveals of set 13 with Greedon support and Avantgarta. What do you guys think about? For the new Greedon stuff, I just like the new grade 3 because that's just a free new attack, which is going to be very helpful with Greedon because Vanguard attack deck only basically. As for the new Avantgarta, pretty cool idea. I really like the fact that it's basically Avantgarta riding on armor when Sora Period is already riding on Avantgarta armor. So it's armor on top of armor. And I like the triple attack capabilities for the Vanguard here. It's just too bad that once you re-ride you do not get an extra restand, but I get why. And a little surprising that we got a Avantgarta new form. So, will we get a Dark State new form somewhere? Every other nation got a new form, well other than Dragon Empire with no new Nirvana revealed yet. Hopefully we will get one. So will we get a Dark State one here? I'm just curious. But other than that, that's it for this and see you all next time.